Our guest tonight is WWE Hall of Famer Bob Backlund. How are you doing?
I'm having a great day.
Fantastic. We're having a great day now that you're on the show. We're very excited. Well, recently you released your book, Backlund, From All-American Boy to Professional Wrestling's World Champion. It has received rave reviews from critics, from fans alike. What kind of feedback have you received from the fans and wrestlers in the business?
You know, it's been so much fun with the book. It's a story of my life, and I'm kind of proud of what's going on in the book and what it says, and it's very exciting to hear people say so many good things about it and the things that I went through and how I struggled and climbed the ladder of success because of some things I learned in high school and junior high school wrestling.
Well, this book, when you wrote this book, why did you decide now was the right time to release this, and what are you hoping to accomplish by releasing this book?
Well, I had a book written back in '85, but nobody would publish it. There was no wrestling books out yet, and I wanted to have a book out about my life. And I stopped thinking about it, and there was a while, like in the '90s, I was thinking about it, and I couldn't find somebody that I really wanted to help me do the book. In 2009, I had a person write me a FedEx, and he said he went to Yale University, and then he went to Philadelphia to get a law degree. I was his childhood hero, and he wanted to write a book with me. And we met. He had a book that had every match I ever had in my life, and he had all the tapes. He knew me better than I knew me. So we went ahead and worked on this book for five years. And that's how this book came to be.
Mike Chiari?
Well, yeah, you've done some work with Darren Young recently, and unfortunately he's hurt right now. But having worked with him for several months, what are your feelings about Darren Young as a performer, and what type of potential do you think he might have in WWE?
Well, you got potential, but you got to have, the writers behind you. But anyway, yeah, I think he's a great person out of the ring. He does a lot of good things, and it was a shame that he dislocated his elbow at Monday Night Raw a couple of weeks ago. But he's coming along real well. He's going to rehab every day, and he's starting to feel a lot better already. So I think he's going to be back pretty soon in the business. He loves the business like we all do, and he just misses it a lot. Yeah.
Brandon Galvin?
Well, fans are always interested in what goes on behind the scenes. What was the creative process like for your storyline with Darren Young? Did you have any input into what was done?
You know what? They called me and they said we did those some little vignettes when I first started doing that. And we talked about that. He was looking high and looking low, and to find somebody that I could mentor him. And then he said, "You were right in my backyard. I should have thought of you a long time ago." And then they called me and said, talk to me about what they wanted to do. And I said, "Yeah, I think that would be great. I think that would be a lot of fun." Yeah.
Well, your work with Darren Young has opened you up to a whole new generation of WWE fans. What has it been like for you getting back on the road, and how have you been received by the fans?
Yeah, everybody's been great. I've met a lot of new people, and it's a different group, but they've been pretty receptive, and they've liked most of the things that we have done so far. And we're going to have to just work a little more to climb the ladder of success in the business. There's a lot of competition right now, and but it makes it pretty darn exciting. Yep.
Mike Chiari?
Well, you've been a big part of WWE through a lot of different eras, and I have to imagine that the environment has changed significantly during that time, especially in the locker room. So how does the current locker room atmosphere, do you think, compare to past years, and how have you enjoyed getting to know and work with the current superstars?
You know what? I spent very little time in the locker room. I didn't like what was going on. I didn't want to hang around those kind of people.
Really?
And I don't spend much
currently?
time in the dressing room now. I say hi to everybody, but I don't care for the language, and so I don't hang in the dressing room very much. And when I was wrestling back in the '80s, I hardly ever went to the dressing room. I put my stuff on, I go out and do the Harvard step test and the wheel before the matches. I wasn't in their world at all.
Well, that's what makes you special, Mr. Backlund. Obviously, that's what makes you different. That's why we like you so much.
Yeah, well, then that's why I'm here.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what? I'm on a mission right now. I was in the White House. I was at the White House last Wednesday, and then I was at Trump Tower the next day. And the reason I was at there is because when I was inducted into the Hall of Fame, Donald Trump was inducted at the same time. And when I got done with my speech, he came over and he says, "You could light up New York City if we could plug you into it." And I'm trying to meet him and say, "Mr. Trump, I would like to be plugged into the United States and light the United States up and help you make this country great again."
That would be quite an interesting dynamic, the two of you.
What I'm thinking is I would like to go to schools and give speeches to people about training and about going out and working hard and getting ahead. And, you know, we live in the greatest country in the world, and there's opportunities out there, but you can't stay home with your parents and just sit there. You got to go out and do it. So that's my thoughts. And I'm going to go down and meet. I'm going down to Trump Tower on Wednesday of this week and see what I can get done.
BG?
John Cena tied Ric Flair's record of 16 World Championships at the Royal Rumble. Would you like to see Cena break that record, or should he stay tied with Flair?
Yeah, they're tied now?
Yes,
sir.
Yeah. Well, he probably will. You know that, but that's quite a feat, but how many times did he get beaten that time?
That's true. That's very true. You got to lose 17 times if you're a 16-time champion.
Yeah. And I had the belt for 6 years.
How many times did you lose?
Once. So, I don't know. Put two and two together.
Mike Chiari?
Well, I don't know if WWE has any plans for you from an on-screen perspective while Darren Young is out injured, but if Vince McMahon were to potentially approach you and give you an opportunity to maybe work with somebody else on the current roster, is there anybody that's around right now that you're really impressed with that you would like to have that opportunity?
They're gonna stick. You know, when Darren doesn't go, I don't go.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they're thinking about maybe putting it in with somebody else. It works with Darren Young.
Is there anybody on the roster right now, though, that you really like, just in terms of their work and everything like that, even if you weren't to work with them?
Well, you know, I their work in the ring, you got to respect it all. They're doing a lot of stuff that, you know, they're putting their injury on the line just about everything they do, and it's amazing. But I really haven't thought about that. But I have another young man that's I trained him. He came over to my house and I worked out with him when he was in 10th grade. He was 220 pounds, and I'm trying to get him introduced to the business.
What's his name?
His name, you wouldn't know him. He's from Connecticut. His name is Andrew Cavana.
Oh, we're going to be on the lookout now. That's what we do. We're always looking at the next crop of talent.
He'll be completely new.
Fantastic. BG, you have another question?
Yeah, fans are extremely vocal about WWE's product on the internet and at live shows. Do you feel this detracts from the product, or do you like that fans are so vocal?
Yeah, it's all right with me. Yeah, everybody's got their opinion. You know, that's. But you know, the business is the business, and you know, they sometimes they try to outguess the promotion, but you know, that's and that's all right too, I guess. You know, but yeah, that's fine with me. And I like people. I like talking to people. I don't mind at all. You know, if you see me, come and say hello. Yeah.
Well, we got
don't be worried about it. Yeah.
We have one more question, then we'll talk about the book for a second. As someone with a storied history in amateur wrestling, what are your thoughts on Kurt Angle and the news that he will be inducted in WWE Hall of Fame this year?
Yeah, that would be fine with me. You know, he's Olympic champion. You know, did some great things in the wrestling business, and yeah, I think that would be very appropriate, and it would be. I'm going to be there. I hope, and that would. Yeah, I haven't seen him for a long time. I was sort of a manager for him way back when, and you know, I got to know him a little bit, and, but he's he's a great wrestler.
Didn't you give him the crossface chicken wing?
Yeah, we did. We did a promo, and he put the chicken wing on me, and then we was going to run with it. Yeah.
Oh, you know what, Bob? A huge thank you to our guest today, Bob Backlund. Catch his book, Backlund, From All-American Boy to Professional Wrestling's World Champion. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, BobBacklundNow.com. That's BobBacklundNow.com. Tell the fans where else they can find the book and where they can support you.
Well, you can go on BobBacklundNow.com, and get the book through PayPal. And I go to a lot of libraries, and I go to a lot of events, and then I have signings. But if they do it on PayPal, PayPal emails me their information. I email them back that I'm going to mail the book to them, and then I mail it to them and I sign it for them.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Good.
And the reason, it's a story of my life, but it's a story of me learning 6 principles from high school and junior high school wrestling. And I tested those 6 principles in 2 different colleges, and I left a mark that is still there. You could call the athletic director of any one of those colleges and ask them about that, and they still remember it. And then in 1973, when I went out in the world of professional wrestling, I was able to conquer the world of professional wrestling because of the 6 principles that I learned. And I still live by them now.
What are those 6 principles?
The first one is you never succumb to peer pressure. And I had an incident one time. I was down in Atlanta, Georgia, and there was some older wrestlers that wanted me to come in the car with them and go for a ride. When I was in the car with them, they started smoking marijuana. And I was in the back seat, and I rolled my window down because they were smoking marijuana, and they rolled it back up. The driver did. I was sitting behind the driver. And I rode it out a little more, and I tried to roll my window down again, and they rolled it back up. So I asked them to stop the car and let me get out of the car because I didn't want to be there. I didn't care if they did marijuana. It didn't affect me. I didn't hate them for it or whatever that, but I just didn't want to be there. They wouldn't stop the car and let me out. And I thought about thinking about maybe I should fake it like I'm doing marijuana with them. And I decided not to do it. I decided to stay away from it. We stopped in a place to go. They went into a bar or a club. I walked home that night. I refused to do drugs with the older wrestlers. It got around big time to everybody in the country, especially the promoters. And the promoters, because I didn't do it, that's one of the reasons why I got the WWF title from Bruno Sammartino.
Because you didn't give in to peer pressure.
I didn't succumb to that pressure. And, everybody in the business knew that Vince McMahon Sr. had a policy. His champion had to be better outside the ring than in the ring. So if Vince called these other promoters to ask who's the best All-American boy to replace Bruno Sammartino, if they would have sent one of those guys that were doing marijuana up to him, he would have been very upset at that promoter for doing that. That's why every promoter said my name to Vince McMahon Sr. when he called and asked who's the guy, because I said no to him.
Which is perfect. That's the title of the book, Backlund, From All-American Boy to Professional Wrestling's World Champion. It's a perfect title for the book.
Yeah. No, and that I took a little time, but that's interesting. And the next day we didn't mention anything about that. As far as the guys, I didn't hate them for it. I don't like it. I didn't want to be there.
Which is fair. Which is totally fair. Well, a huge thank you to our guest, Bob Backlund. Good luck moving forward, sir.
No, thank you very much. Have a great day, and never capitulate.